Rules Podcast, episode 5.
5.
You were going to say 4 then.
I was going to say 4, yeah. Long time no see, Sean.
Yeah, it's been...
I haven't seen you for an entire week.
We both went to the cinema this week.
Yeah.
And but we didn't go together.
No. Because
Happy time. It's actually the hottest day of the year.
It's
it feels
boiling
like. It's
hot.
like 32, 34 degrees outside in England, and that's just unheard of.
I'm just going to drink this water.
It's absolutely unheard of. So we're melting.
But what did we see, Sean? What did we see at the cinema this week?
We went to see... Well, you and I went to see separately Long Legs.
Long Legs, starring Nicolas Cage.
And who was the main woman in it?
I don't know. I'm just going to get up the cast now. We're not really prepared for this, are we? 2024's Long Legs. It was 1 hour and 41 minutes long, Sean.
Yeah, it was actually quite a short and sweet movie.
A psychological horror / thriller starring Micah Monroe.
I thought she was really good in it. She was very weird.
She was a really unique kind of protagonist to have. Like, not your typical, like, either final girl, stereotypical horror female character.
She made you feel just as uncomfortable as, say, a villain would.
Yeah, it was almost like an unreliable narrator as well, wasn't it? Because she has... I don't think it's a spoiler alert, but she has something psychologically different about her backstory and character that comes through
kind of suppressed
in the story.
Something that involves her that's suppressed for her and obviously the audience until it's finally revealed.
I think Long Legs is going to be proper Marmite for some people as a film.
Can I tell you why I think I agree with you?
Go on.
Because of the marketing. I think the marketing stated that it was the scariest movie of the decade. I don't even think this is a horror movie. I compare this movie to such films like Seven or Silence of the Lambs.
I did get...
They're not necessarily horror movies. They're more thriller, crime.
It was different to what I thought it was going to be. I thought I was going into it thinking it was going to be I was actually... I think I saw one trailer, maybe. I can't remember. But I was going into it thinking it was going to be like a crime film, a thriller film, like a detective, like Silence of the Lambs. Like Silence of the Lambs, right?
Literally what I just said.
Yeah. But I had no idea. This might be a bit of a spoiler. So
well, let's preface this podcast. We're free flowing here. We're gonna be mentioning spoilers. It's gonna be a full blown discussion on spoiler alert on Long Legs. Okay.
Yeah, you've spoiled. You're spoiled. You're spoiled.
In 3, 2, 1. Now, if you haven't clicked off, it's your own fault.
Okay. I didn't think it was going to be supernatural at all. And it massively was. Massively.
Yeah.
So,
it was pretty
and
interesting.
it was really like... So if you don't know, the preface of the film is basically Nicolas Cage's character is essentially a devil worshipper, isn't he?
Yeah.
And is kind of allowing the devil to enter these children and these families to corrupt them so they kill each other in gruesome ways. And I got a real sort of... The vibe I got from it reminded me of Hereditary a bit, or The Witch, and I think it was because of the devil and because of like that kind of concept. And it was quite freaky. It was quite freaky in parts when you kind of think about that. But the biggest thing that is driving people to probably see this film is Nicolas Cage's character. So what did you think about his performance and his character?
I don't know. First of all, was your cinema packed?
It was quite a lot of people in there. I didn't go to the usual cinema. I went to Showcase.
I went to Showcase Deluxe as well, and not one seat was empty.
Wow.
It was every seat.
Yeah.
It was the fullest cinema screen I've seen in a while.
They've done a killer job with the marketing then. I mean, I think people have gone to see this film because they think it's going to be scary.
That's
and they
the
think
thing.
it's... And this is why I said it would be Marmite, because I think a lot of people won't appreciate the kind of craft work of the film, and there is a lot in there in terms of it's almost a bit too stylistic in the way that it's filmed.
It has an independent feel to it.
Yeah,
an independent movie, and I think it is because it is an independent movie.
There's a lot of interesting crafted shots, like with symmetry and full frontal face shots and even like sideways shots to the face when people are driving and they're having full conversations like that. You got the aspect ratio change as well. The aspect ratio change. The music choices.
There are a lot of wide shots.
Yeah.
And it feels close to you. It feels like I heard someone explain it like it's the film is invading your personal space, which I like that analogy.
And I liked the beginning of the film way more up until the bit where we actually saw Nicolas Cage's character completely for the first time, and then I think it went downhill in my opinion.
What?
Yeah. I much preferred when
completely disagree.
I much preferred when we were getting glimpses of him. We didn't see his true character. And do you know the bit where she goes outside the house and
which part? She goes outside.
She goes outside of her house, and you see Nicolas Cage's character go into her house, and he's
at
in
the
very
bit. Yeah.
That was terrifying. I thought that was great.
It was very tense.
And it was. I liked the not knowing part more than the actual discovery, and I just wish it was. I don't. I mean, it's like me saying I wish one genre is a different genre, but I wish it didn't have the supernatural element. I think I would have preferred it if he was just a killer,
right?
And he was nuts.
So when I exited the cinema, I was initially a bit taken back because I thought this film was going to be one thing, but it was a completely different thing. So I thought it was going to be a full-blown horror. It's going to be terrifying because that's what it was advertised at. I think it was false advertised. The advertiser did very well because I think it got people in the cinema to watch it. And I don't think it's a bad film because of that, because I think as the genre it sits in, which I believe is just a suspense thriller, it's a good film. It is a really good film when it sits within that. However, I heard people coming out of the cinema talking about it, and they're saying, I was a little bit disappointed. I was expecting it to be scary.
I think some people would see it as slow, but it's scary because it creates an atmosphere and a tension. Like, what would you have that's scary? Lots of more jump scares. Like, I'm asking what that person would have.
Yeah.
What that person would have done to improve it. I mean, when Nicolas Cage said "Hail Satan" and smashed his face down into the table repeatedly, I was like,
that was crazy. Now, I do agree. You know, the small glimpses was suspenseful. I wouldn't necessarily say that I was scared, but I was very suspense. I was very tense in the cinema, and it did intrigue me. But that's what those moments should do at the beginning of the film, first half of the film. It should intrigue the audience to be drawn in, and then you allow your audience to understand exactly what this story is coming to. You can't have it like that throughout the whole thing because you're just teasing your audience too much. So when Nicolas Cage came in and you saw his character in all it Longlegs' glory, I loved Nicolas Cage in this.
Did you think it was bordering on comical though?
So there were moments where I saw Nicolas Cage and his singing and his acting
and his makeup
was almost too much, but
the prosthetics.
But as I grew familiar with the character and the atmosphere of the film, it then quickly became, oh, this is actually unsettling. His character is unsettling. Yeah. I was glued to the screen, almost similarly to, people were going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe you're comparing him to that. But on a smaller scale to Heath Ledger's Joker. Obviously, people are going to compare him to it.
Wow!
But I genuinely was glued to the screen when Nicolas Cage was having his monologues,
I think
just like
it's his best performance in ages. It's his best performance in ages. Like, I mean, I know he does wild films and weird indie choices these days, but compared to that film we watched on the channel, that H.P. Lovecraft one called Colour Out of Space that he did, like his acting is much better in this.
Of course, I mean it's a character that he can have fun with, and it really suits his acting style. Yes, I saw Nicolas Cage in moments, in glimpses, but his prosthetics completely, completely. I did not see Nicolas Cage when you see him.
Apparently, the other day he said he only wants to do 3 or 4 more kind of lead roles and then retire.
Okay.
Yeah,
interesting.
From
would you say that was a lead role then?
No, I don't think that's a lead role. No.
No.
I mean, maybe. I mean, it's top billing and he's a producer on it and stuff like that. But
yeah,
I wouldn't call it a lead role. No, I think she was the main lead role, wasn't she? The Micah Monroe, her agent character.
But I would,
But the characters, man. The one thing that infuriated me about this film. Do you know the guy that's like the FBI and he's top in the FBI? That's her boss. He just does random weird stuff. Like, there's no way some of the stuff.
like what?
I don't know. Like, he'll go out with her on this case.
Yeah.
And bits of it seemed out of place to me. Like some of the characters and what they were doing.
Like what?
No, how
Putting you on the spot.
It would just be the two of them,
Yeah.
and they'd be talking about a case, and he wouldn't be taking her off the case, or he wouldn't be taking it further or giving it to someone else, or he would,
because of her
go along
relationship
on
with the
the
case.
he'd go along on the investigation when he's the head of the FBI or whatever, and when he's the head in that area and stuff like that.
I mean, it was a case that was lasting over 30 years, so I think he would probably want to be attached to it, and I think he was the one that had the most experience and knowledge on the case, and he brought her in because she had some,
I actually
paranormal skills.
I try and never leave the cinema to go to the toilet, right? But I did in this film, and it was the bit where, because I got filled in by our mate who went with me, where they found the first doll.
Yeah,
they did a scan on it, and there was like a ball thing inside.
Yeah.
Did they explain what that was?
You saw it at the end.
I know you saw it at the end
because it was within her doll.
I know you saw it, but did they explain what it was?
Well,
was it just something that he had because he was a Satan worshipper? Was it something that he'd imbued with the?
I guess he would just summon something and capture it within this spherical ball. But the person that looked at the first doll said that there was nothing inside it. Obviously, he wouldn't have been able to tell. That there was.
I mean, there was one cool thing about this film in that it was pretty brave in its grim ending. Because she doesn't save the girl, the entire family get killed.
She saves the girl.
Well, she doesn't save her she can't kill the doll.
She
can't destroy the doll.
Yeah.
And she doesn't save the family.
Yeah.
So
it was it was a very bleak ending, I guess.
Yeah.
When the film started and it said, his Longlegs has obviously done all these murders, but he's never placed at the scene, and it seems like all of the families are killing themselves. I was just thinking, I was so hooked. I was so intrigued. I was thinking, how is this happening? How is this happening? Is it? I had no explanation, and then obviously the twist came that it was something paranormal. It's demonic. I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. I like that. It was a nice little twist because I went into this film, like you said, not knowing it was going to be paranormal, and that was a nice little. I like going into films. Nowadays when you go into films, you know too much. There's like 10 trailers and 15.
And I guess
teaser trailers.
At least it wasn't generic because some modern horrors are, aren't they?
Yeah, I think
the narrative in the story and the jump scares, and the way they try and scare you.
We need more films like this. We don't want Silence of the Lambs 2. We don't want the sequel to 7, 8. We want
that's gonna happen, man. I'm telling you now. You heard it here first.
We want Longlegs.
8 is coming.
We want more films like Longlegs, but I think they did leave it open for a Longlegs 2, probably titled Longer Legs.
But they can't do a Longlegs 2 because he smashes his face to bits.
Yeah, but he might
be reborn. Longlegs.
He might have other friends across the country.
Yeah.
I also thought it was pretty neat. I thought it was a little bit predictable. However, I still appreciated the twists and turns. So I did think it was predictable that her mum was in on it.
Her mum was a very weird character as well.
As soon as she went to see her, I was like, "Oh, she's in on it." I was
getting kind of Carrie vibes for a little bit with her mum.
But as soon as I saw her with her, and she looked a state, I was like, "Oh, you're evil." And then obviously when the main character was in the kitchen and she saw the door and it was closed, I was like, "Oh, Longlegs is downstairs." When the cockroach crawled out the door, I was like, "Oh, Longlegs is downstairs," and the mum is protecting her.
She said that she was doing it to protect the daughter, but then she was kind of worshipping Satan herself by the end of it.
I think she saw so much death,
become corrupted by it.
She became corrupted by it. Yeah, I
when
saw
she was talking to her on the phone at the beginning, and then she was like, There was a massive long pause, and she was like,
Yeah.
"Are you saying your prayers or something like that?" I was like, "Oh,
Yeah. I thought, I thought it was predictable, but in terms of the reasons why, I was still intrigued because I was like, okay, I know it's going to go from here to here, but I want the film now to tell me how.
Do you know?
And I thought it was good.
Do you know what my biggest gripe with the film was?
What?
When she was in her house, it was pitch black at night, and she didn't draw any of her curtains, and you were just waiting for someone to come smashing through the window.
Smashing through the window like Friday the 13th.
Yeah, I mean, it was way better than In a Violent Nature that we watched previously. Last week,
way better.
Whenever it was.
And I think a lot of people, they need to know what they're getting themselves into. It's a slow pace, slow burn. It's not very scary, like the trailers are saying. It's compare it to Silence of the Lambs.
You don't actually
7.
see a lot of brutal stuff, really, do you?
Well, one thing I did like at the very beginning of the movie, when she sensed he was in this house and her partner got shot straight away.
Oh, that was shocking. Yeah.
Unexpected, and it was like almost like welcome to the film.
Yeah,
this is like you're not gonna know what's gonna happen.
But then nothing really
did.
Nothing to that extent did again. So it was,
no,
yeah.
It tried with those twists and turns, but again, like I said, they were predictable, and I just was fascinated by how the story would tell me.
What did you think to the imagery of the devil, like when he was watching?
So
it's quite creepy, wasn't it? It's like
hang on a minute. So the person that I went with said that the shadow that you see at the end with the horned beast.
Yeah,
the shadow. She said that she spotted that horned beast throughout the entire movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she was like, she said, from the very beginning, she spotted like this, and she was like, "Am I seeing things?" And then when it happened at the end, she was like, "Oh, that's cool."
That's creepy. I want to rewatch it.
I want to rewatch it to see where I can see that devil, because obviously she's got this thing attached to her because she's got a doll.
Yeah.
The main character's got this doll that is made of her, so she's got this entity following her around.
Yeah,
which is probably why she's got this sixth sense.
Yeah, I watched.
So it's probably following her around.
Yeah, I watched the Woman in Black again this week with Daniel Radcliffe, and she's in the background of that all the time as well.
Yeah.
Like, every time you watch a film, you see it.
I went to see that in theatre.
Oh, you did, didn't you? Yeah.
Have you seen
that? Is that the one with like one person or two actors or something like that? Yeah.
It is actually really good. I recommend going to see it. I went to see it in Coventry.
I like the film. I think it's underrated.
Yeah.
As a horror film.
Yeah.
A simple plot.
12A as well. And it
that was controversial when it came out. It definitely should be a 15.
But what would you rate it?
What I rate it? Long Legs, probably. Stylistically, I thought it was really good. As I said, like cinematography, it's clearly someone that's thought through what they want to do.
Very meticulous
and planned shots, etc.
It almost gave me Dave Fincher vibes.
Yeah,
well, he directed 7, right?
He directed 7. Yeah,
so it gave me that type of vibe.
I'd probably give it. I don't think I'd put it up in 7. I don't
lower
think
than
I
7.
I don't know. I'd probably just
you say
probably put it at like 6.8 or 6.9.
Really, that low?
Because I mean, it was hard to not empathize with the character. It was hard to relate to the character, not because of
how different she was.
And I also felt the story didn't go anywhere exciting.
You thought it was quite generic.
Yeah, the supernatural thing. I thought you could have done something else. It was called Long Legs. You could have done something more with his character, because after he dies, like, that's it. I know the devil is meant to be there as like an even more ominous threat, but I felt like the threat was gone.
Are you thinking? Because when you're saying they could have done more with his character and the fact that his name is Long Legs, all I'm picturing when you say that is the demon thing out of Barbarian, the generic shit that you hate.
I think no, not that. I think if you kept him alive and he had those creepy monologues to her and he said or revealed partly what was going to happen or something like that, then
there was a race against time.
And there's a race against time.
Yeah, I guess.
And he starts and he's laughing or something like that, or he does one of his weird things. I feel like you'd have him there as a presence that would seem like insurmountable odds, and he'd be so much more threatening, and you'd feel it more, and you'd be scared for what was going to happen.
Kind of like the Joker.
And then you could still have him kill himself at the end or something like that. I see you could still keep that in there, but kind of like the Joker. Yeah, I like it's exactly like the Joker when he's
given them two options to save two separate people and two
horrific
locations.
options. I like antagonists like that.
I guess so, but I think
because he's not. I think he got boiled down too much to like just Longleg, like the caricature of him. It got boiled down a bit to that a bit too much, as opposed to being an actual character.
Do you know what I would want then?
Go on.
I'd want a backstory. I want a prequel of how Longlegs came to be.
I could imagine him doing that.
Set in the 70s.
Yeah.
How did he?
It was set in the 90s, wasn't it? This film.
It was set in the 90s, but like his first kill was in the 70s.
Yeah.
So I think you have him as a young boy growing up, and you show the stages of him becoming this serial killer.
You could make it really creepy.
Yeah, very like a Jeffrey Dahmer type of story. Yeah, I think that would be a really good thing to go. A really cool story to go down.
Yeah, I definitely want to see another film from this director though. Like, I think that the direction of it and the shooting of it was really great. I'm just seeing who the director is. Oz Perkins.
I don't think he's done much else, has he?
Or Osgood Perkins, was it?
What else has he done?
He did the Twilight Zone TV series.
Yeah.
Gretel and Hansel. Something called February.
Yeah, nothing worthy of note. But yeah, Longlegs has definitely put him on the map.
Oh, he's got a film in production at the moment called Keeper.
What's the synopsis?
During an anniversary getaway at a remote cabin, a wife is left alone after her husband departs, only to confront a sinister presence that exposes the cabin's chilling past.
Interesting.
The Cabin in the Woods. It's got Tatiana Maslany in, who plays She-Hulk.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
What would you give it? You never said your score.
I would want to watch it again with the expectations that I have now and knowing what I know now, because it's hard to give it a fair score when I was going in excited about seeing one thing and getting something else, but that was still good, but it just wasn't what I was expecting. Imagine going into see an Avengers movie and you walk in and you actually get an Eternals movie. Yeah, you'll be pretty fucking disappointed.
Look, mate, I've said it before. I'll say it again. I think Eternals got way too much hate for what it was.
Yeah, well, speaking of Avengers, though.
Speaking of Avengers, let's go on to our next topic, Sean. I'll read you the Variety headline at the moment. This came out yesterday for us. Russo Brothers in talks to direct the next 2 Avengers movies. Dun.
Best decision Marvel have made.
In talks.
Yeah,
and by the way, Kevin Feige actually said, no, we're moving away. He previously said, no, we're moving away from the Russo brothers now. They're not going to be directing.
Yeah, but how long ago did he say
film.
that?
Ages ago.
Ages ago. When they thought that they could handle the fucking multiverse, and they can't.
I think it's good news, man.
It's huge news.
I think they have a proven track record of working with the studio. They didn't just do Infinity War and Endgame. They actually did Winter Soldier and Civil War.
Arguably, all 4 are the best rated, top rated Marvel movies.
Yeah, arguably. I mean, they really can balance the characters well. They've worked with the actors before.
And what they do best.
Somebody experienced to come in and save it, because they've got a problem with it. Avengers 4 was going to be called Avengers Kang Dynasty, but they've said it's no longer called that after the controversy and allegations. And it actually got prosecuted, didn't he? So Jonathan Majors. So they might change the story with that. It might not even be Kang. It might be like Doctor Doom or something like that. And they've got to tie up this ridiculous multiverse. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the multiverse.
I told you as soon as Endgame happened. As soon as it happened, I told you were like, I'm really excited about what's to come. I'm just like, They need to slow down.
Yeah,
they need to fucking slow down.
Because
Multiverse is going to go out of control. It's going to be shit.
Because I'd
They're
just
gonna turn
seen
it out.
Avengers Endgame. That's why I was hyped.
But what I was going to say is the Russo brothers, what else they do well is that they create Marvel films that do not feel like Marvel films.
They're all really different, aren't they?
They've got genres attached to them.
Infinity War was a kind of like dystopian nightmare kind of action film, and Captain America: Winter Soldier was like a thriller noir or almost noir kind of thing. They're great. They are great films. Endgame was just on another level. Did you prefer Infinity War or Endgame?
At the time I preferred Endgame, but I need to rewatch them both because I think Infinity War is probably like a much more fun experience. Endgame's a much more intense one.
Yeah.
And bleak.
I just remember the ending of Infinity War, and you had to wait another year.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It was a rush. It was
and then the trailers came out for Endgame, and it was like trying to they created shots that never existed in the film. You're trying to piece it all together, and I just remember a part of the Endgame trailer where Captain America is bloodied, he's beaten, he's bruised, and he's all dirty, and he looks like he's got like a gash in his arm, and he tightens the shield on his arm. And he's like, oh, in the camera. I'm just like, oh my god, I can't wait.
So we know Avengers 5 is going to be Secret Wars, right?
Do we?
They're even saying it might be split into two, so there might be 4, 5, and 6. So Secret Wars might be 2 films.
Right.
It's got so much to do.
So you've got to bring in. Tell me about Secret Wars because I'm a newbie.
So in the comics, Secret Wars is essentially the aftermath of universes colliding. Mm-hmm. Kang's only in it partially because it's set on a world called Battle World, which is essentially the remnants of all of these different universes.
What
Secret
a name.
Wars,
so inventive.
Yeah.
Battle.
Secret Wars isn't just the Marvel universe of the MCU. No doubt they'll bring in like Wolverine, Hugh Jackman.
X-Men.
They'll bring in Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man.
Those actors.
They'll bring in all the different.
Do you think?
Yeah, they'll be.
You think Hugh Jackman will come back?
100%. If I was to bet, I would bet on him coming back.
But that's what,
and
5 years away.
Well, yeah.
Hugh Jackman's like over 60
years
old.
It'll be his last hurrah, won't it? Same with Tobey Maguire. I genuinely think they will. I mean, depending on what happens with Deadpool 3 as well. Like, at the end of Deadpool 3 might be Hugh Jackman going into Deadpool's world or something like that.
Maybe.
You know, we don't know. They've got to bring in the X-Men, haven't they? They'll have to bring in the Fantastic Four, even though we haven't seen them yet.
Yeah.
You've got all of these TV show characters that they've introduced that we've never seen again, like Moon Knight and She-Hulk and Miss Marvel. Oh, Miss Marvel was in the Marvels. You got to bring Captain Marvel back.
By the way,
you got to bring Captain America, as in the Falcon.
Yeah. By the way, wasn't it announced that the Fantastic Four aren't in the original Marvel universe?
Yeah, so that's a good way that they can perhaps
veer off
and
create their own thing again, essentially starting from scratch almost.
No, I reckon they'll start in another universe and end up in our one. And that's what will happen, and bring Doctor Doom with them or something like that. But, they will tie it up well, I think. I think they will tie it up well. I see so many people whinging and moaning about like, oh yeah, but the Avengers are nowhere near as good. The characters are just crap. There's not going to be a good Avengers team, right? Because of like Miss Marvel and She-Hulk and Captain Marvel and
they got a point.
And I can't remember Kate Bishop, who's the Hawkeye's.
Well, I never watched them.
They're complaining that it's all female team and stuff like that. But actually, if you think about it, you've got Thor still. Yeah, you've got the new Captain America.
Yeah,
you've got
Falcon,
Doctor Strange. You've got Spider-Man. You've got. Do
you still have Spider-Man? Well, do you think he's coming back?
Yeah, 100%. Shang-Chi.
Yeah,
who was great.
Yeah, that was good.
It's annoying that he hasn't had another one.
Yeah.
You've got Moon Knight, who I thought was really cool as well.
Yeah.
You probably won't see Eternals again.
You don't have like a big A-grade superhero though, do you?
Thor.
Thor's the only.
Hulk can come back.
Thor's the only one, but Hulk has always been a sub-hero.
Hulk
has, yeah. He's always been a subhero.
He's one of the A-tier Avengers.
Yeah, but would you say Hawkeye's one of the A-tier?
No, he's B-tier.
Yeah, exactly. I think Hulk is probably one as well because he's hasn't had his. He's had one standalone film, but he's not like one of the.
You never know, mate.
The core three were Captain America, Iron Man, and Thor. So you got Thor. No, sorry, you got Thor. But
Doctor Strange.
But after Love and Thunder, no one gives a fuck about
Spider-Man is way more popular than any of the other characters.
Spider-Man now, I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
But again,
Doctor Strange
he's not a presence. He's not an A-tier presence.
I think
like
he is.
Thor,
Yeah, but
Captain
maybe not to you, but box office proves otherwise, doesn't it? Doctor Strange made more money than Iron Man 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that the movies and the characters are more popular. What I'm saying is, as a, like the original three.
No, Sean.
You can't pick a new original three then.
The new top three will probably be the new main three of the Avengers.
Yeah.
Will be, Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, and Captain America.
I can't stand Doctor Strange, but Captain America.
It might be Captain Marvel, but I think they're kind of probably veering away from her a bit.
The fact that it's a different Captain America already makes him a sub tier hero. I'm sorry, he's not going to top the original Captain America. Yeah. Doctor Strange was already a sub hero within the main Infinity War saga, so you can't.
He's not actually an Avenger. He hasn't actually been an Avenger yet. He hasn't actually been on the team yet.
But he's been in an Avengers movie.
Yeah.
So you can't really bump him up to an A tier.
But the thing is, mate, we've been through stuff with these characters, so we know. We haven't seen. We've got Thunder. There's Thunderbolts.
Shit.
Thunderbolts is coming out, and Captain America, the new one, is coming out. I predict they'll actually be pretty good films. Those two.
The thing is, you say we've been through so much stuff with these characters. Doctor Strange, apart from his first movie where he traversed through his ups and his downs, and let's say Endgame, but it wasn't really his story. What has he?
He also fought Thanos in Infinity War.
Yeah, no.
And saved Spider-Man and Tony Stark.
But it wasn't his story.
Did you see Multiverse of Madness?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was in that as well.
But what I'm saying is those films never, like the Russo Brothers do.
We don't know.
Wait, hang on a minute. Well, like the Russo Brothers do with Winter Soldier, made it a thriller, made it a personal story about Bucky and Steve Rogers. What has Doctor Strange been through? What has he been through?
What they're going to do with Avengers 5 will be Secret Wars. Avengers 4, I reckon, will be a small team-based film. There'll probably only be 5 or 6 of them.
There need to be more personalised stories, not the world is ending every movie.
I think that's what they're...
Personalised stories will help you connect to the characters more. I do not feel connected to Doctor Strange whatsoever. Because what in the past few movies has he been through personally? Personally.
I disagree with that, because Doctor Strange 1 was good.
Yeah, I'm saying despite his origin film... Despite everyone's origin film, because it's about them, going through.
Yeah, that's what they need to do then, don't they? But I think he's always been a bit of a weird character because he's in the cosmic and the uncanny and like magic in that realm, isn't he? I could say the same for Thor, because Thor Ragnarok was basically a road trip comedy, and Thor Love and Thunder was just an absolute parody of itself. Like it wasn't even a... He wasn't even a character in that film. He was a cartoon. Like he wasn't. You know what I mean?
No, I agree.
I've actually heard Deadpool's got quite a bit of heart, so I'm wondering if that's going to have a nice bit of drama.
When you look at like Guardians of the Galaxy, each and every film had heart.
Yeah,
each one, especially 3.
Yeah,
with Rocket.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, Rocket. I mean they probably weren't.
They're the ones. Those are the characters that I care about, because they actually, James Gunn actually provided us with some substance. Then.
Here's your Avengers 4, right? You get a pick of 5 I don't even know the characters anymore. For the Avengers, Sean.
I want Iron Man back. I want Steve Rogers back.
You say that. I'm pretty 50-50. Do you think Robert Downey Jr. would come back for Secret Wars?
I know he's made a comment.
He's made a comment recently saying,
I'd love to come back. But I don't think he ever will.
I think he will.
I think people will hate on him if he
I
does.
think he will. I think he'll be in Armor Wars as well.
I
think it'll be like a AI projection or something like that.
I think it's pointless. If you're just going to come back as an AI projection, just don't come back at all.
Yeah.
That's the point.
They'd have to figure out if there's any way that they can bring him back. It's during Secret Wars.
If there's any way they can figure out to bring him back, it won't be good enough. So don't.
Do you not think they'll be able to write an effective story?
The only reason why Endgame did so well and why the Infinity Saga was so successful and everyone remembers it fondly is because of the death of Tony Stark. There was a stake. There's stakes. If you bring him back,
and Captain
the Infinity
America
War
sacrificing
saga
himself
can still be watched on its own, but it's
in fact,
tainted,
there was three, weren't
I'll
there?
be done with
Black
Marvel.
Widow.
Done with
Black
it.
Widow died. Captain America got really ancient.
If you want to bet, obviously Marvel have been going downhill ever since Endgame. If you want to bury it now, bring back Tony Stark. If you want to bury it, if you want to,
I don't know.
And no return, bring back Tony Stark. I'm telling you, everyone will be like, I'm done with Marvel.
Go on
now.
then.
I'm done with it.
Do your 5 Avengers.
Okay.
Your team.
I don't know. I don't know who's about anymore. Spider-Man. Yeah, Thor maybe, but how many films does Chris Hemsworth have in him?
Oh,
Left
right.
in him as Thor. And I didn't see Love and Thunder. I didn't want to waste my time with it. So yeah, Spider-Man, Thor. Yeah, you're gonna have to have Captain America, the Falcon, but I'm not happy about it because he's not the OG. I like the Falcon. I like the Falcon as a sub-hero.
Yeah.
But yeah, just leave Captain. I know he's become a symbol.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I don't know. I guess the Hulk. I'm tired of like the smart Hulk. Bring back the fucking OG
Bring back
Hulk.
the OG. That's one thing that I agree with you on there because he's just a bit annoying now. I think they just do it to give Mark Ruffalo a bit more time, but you can have you can have him do some great acting as that character because he's meant to be so torn and emotionally damaged and that's so.
The reason why everyone loved the Hulk so much is because he's so unpredictable and so rageful. And
but it's annoying that they
Hulk
can't do a film with him because there's still Universal still own the rights to put out Hulk films.
Yeah.
So and they're not giving it back, so they can't do a film with Hulk in the title.
Right.
I think you could do. There's a great story called World War Hulk where the Avengers have to turn on the Hulk and all fight him, and you could do Avengers World War Hulk. That would be a good one.
Yeah. Or just World War.
Avengers World War. Yeah. But I don't know. I hope Secret Wars has every single character in it.
That's what they said about Civil War, and everyone was like complaining because Civil War's comic has got like
Civil War
hundreds
like
of
much
characters
bigger in
and
the
it was
comic.
like
Yeah, they could
10.
do another Civil War. There is a Civil War 2 in the
Is
comics between Captain Marvel and Iron Man.
Yeah,
you could do that.
Some things can. Yeah, I don't know.
I think the Avengers films have all been great.
Yeah,
I don't have.
No,
I think
agree.
even
I
Age of
agree.
Ultron that people seem to hate on for no reason. I think is great.
I enjoyed all of them. I think when you go back and watch the first one, though, yes, you get nostalgia from it, but I think
it's a weaker story.
It's a very weak version of what comes after.
Yeah.
I get kind of bored.
But at the time, it was
like absolutely.
I watched that film 5 times in the cinema.
Did you? Yeah. I remember going to see it and people were like dressed up and stuff.
Yeah.
Good.
But I think Russo Brothers. In Russo's we trust.
In Russo's we do trust. I'm excited for their return. I think they'll be able to pump some heart back into it, pump some purpose, I guess, into the stories. But we'll have to wait and see because it's not confirmed.
Yeah, well, it could be anyone. It was Destin Daniel Cretton. Is that how you pronounce his name?
Daniel Craig.
Cretin? No. Oh God, that's definitely not right. But let us know, guys, if you're excited for the Russo Brothers. What would your Avengers dream team be?
Yeah, comment down below your 5.
Only
Avengers.
War Machine.
Only War Machine.
It was a one-man team.
Right, are we? Do you want to answer some questions?
Yeah, go on. I've got one for you straight away from Twitter.
Go for it, because I don't have one.
I've got one from Twitter. From Casper96. What was the death in a film or TV show that hit you the hardest? What was the death in a film or TV show that hit you hardest?
Okay, so obviously we've just spoken about Tony Stark. When the Tony Stark died, I did have a tear in my eye.
Because I was utterly convinced he was not going to die.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be Captain America 100%.
Yeah, that was tough.
I am Iron Man. That was so good. Mine, go on.
Yeah, no, you go again.
Mine was when I was a kid watching The Fellowship of the Ring. Even though it was the first film, Gandalf falling and dying, I was like, ah! or recently, not even recently, it'd be like 10 years ago now, but would it be 10 years ago? Jeez, yeah, it would. More than that. When Ned Stark got his head cut off in Game of Thrones.
You were devastated.
Yeah, because I thought his character was great.
Yeah, but did you cry about it?
Well, no, I didn't cry about it, but I was gutted that they killed him off. Yeah. Absolutely gutted.
Yeah. So do you want to know mine too?
Is it T-Dog in Walking Dead when he got bit in the prison?
No. Although
I thought yours would be what's his name, Glenn, getting killed in The Walking Dead.
No, that wasn't necessarily upsetting. It was shocking, but upsetting. Like the one that hit me hard were two from the same TV show. The first being. Oh no, you haven't seen it. I'm gonna say it anyway. Fuck it. I don't care about.
Oh come on, mate. What TV show first?
Lost.
Oh, go on then. Yeah, there's too many episodes, man. I will get through it eventually, but
I watched it like last year again. Like I don't know what you're playing at. Too many bloody episodes. Charlie.
I think I know how he dies as well. Does he drown?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
not Penny's boat. If you know, you know.
Is he played by Dominic Monaghan?
He is. Yeah. That was tough, and also the very end of Lost. Do you want me to say?
No.
Cover your ears.
I don't want to know.
The very end of Lost, when they realise you don't need to say anything. Hey, stop talking.
Oh yeah.
The very end of Lost, where it's realised that Jack is dead, and he's struggling to accept the fact that he is, and he's seeing all the memories when he's touching his own coffin. That was tough.
I was having to move my hands because I could still hear. Yeah, so Lost was a bad one for you. I'm telling you, there's got to be other characters that have died.
Just trying to think what other, because the impact of death on the characters, it's more impactful through a TV show because you spend more time with them.
One time I've had that's not even TV or film.
What, We Were Alive?
Yeah, but do you know the game series Mass Effect? You throughout that series, all the way from 1, 2 to 3, you make decisions as a character, and the game changes, and characters can die or they can survive all the way through, all things like that. And I like that because it makes you feel responsible.
Yeah.
Where it's different in a film or TV show. So that's always quite cool.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I also in the show Lost is my top rated TV show. I love it. I don't care what people think about the ending. I think it's poetry. I think it's fucking brilliant. But one of my top 3, This Is Us TV show. If you ever seen it, very sad.
Oh
TV
yeah,
show.
yeah.
Obviously the first few seasons surrounds why the dad dies. So you know the dad is dead, but there's flashbacks between them as adults and them as kids, and the dad is present when they're kids, and you don't know why he's not around anymore and how he died. His death in that show, fucking hell, it brings a tear to your eye.
Oh man, yeah. What a great question.
Yeah.
Another one for you, Sean.
Go on then.
Another question. This is by Christian XVX, who has asked us a question before. If you could be an extra in a film or TV show, what would it be? I'm going to change the question. If you could be an actor in any film or kind of franchise, I guess,
already existing,
or if there was another film coming out in that from that kind of in that franchise, or even if there was another one, what would it be? I'd love to play a character like Ramsay Bolton in Game of Thrones. I think that would be so much fun. A good Game of Thrones character, it would be really cool.
I think everyone's ambition is to play a really good villain because there's so much there you can play with.
Yeah, yeah.
For me,
the best actors are villains, aren't they? I think a lot of them.
For me, it's hard. I'd want to play someone that's rageful. I think I could probably play someone that's good at not controlling his emotions.
Yeah. I'd imagine you as like do you know like Mark Wahlberg in The Fighter?
What, emotionless? Yeah, I mean, what character could you see me playing, and what character could I see you
playing someone like, do you know Jake Gyllenhaal's roles? Some of his crazy roles, like
Nightcrawler.
Like Nightcrawler. Yeah, I can see you playing that. I can see you doing Southpaw or something like that.
Yeah, that would be brilliant.
Yeah. What about me?
Probably Jabba.
For God's sake.
No. I think
that's it. I quit.
I could probably see you playing.
We had a good run, 5 podcasts.
Who could I see you playing? I don't know. I think
that's it, man. It's because I'm so versatile as an actor.
Or
I
generic.
could play any role, man. Is it long legs?
No. I think I could. I don't know. It's hard to picture you as someone else because I've known you for so long. So I don't know.
That's a cop-out answer, guys. That is a cop-out answer.
I could probably see you playing like you're gonna hate this as well, like an Adam Sandler out of Uncut Gems. You know, like a hustler, like who like tries to sell shit and is he's in the shit and he's struggling to get out.
Yeah. I'd take that role. I'd take that.
So something like that. Like not Adam Sandler as
not
Adam Sandler.
Please not. I thought you were going to say Adam Sandler in Grown Up. So I was like, kill me now.
Happy Gilmore. Definitely.
God.
Happy Gilmore, definitely.
Is that the golf one?
The golf one. I can see you playing like a comedy. A comedy thing would be good for you. Like Grown Ups. I can see you in Grown Ups.
God's sake, man. Oh, my career has died before it's even taken off. I mean, Adam Sandler almost won an Oscar for Uncut Gems, so...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That is a compliment.
He is a good actor.
I loved him in Reign Over Me as well, where he played a widower from 9/11 from the 9/11
dramatic
tragedy.
chops.
Yeah, it was really good in that.
What are the questions you have, Sean?
I don't have any questions, Tom, but I do have a question or a segment that we could do, a small segment that we can introduce.
Okay.
Which would be guess the film from the quote.
Okay.
And I've got a quote for you.
Guess the film from the quote. Just one quote each, yeah?
One quote each. Just a quick segment.
Do I get 3 guesses? You guys can play as well.
Yeah, you get 3 guesses. So, guess the film.
Okay.
From the quote. Tired of being on the road, lonely as a sparrow in the rain. Tired of not ever having me a buddy to be with, or tell me where we're coming from or going to or why.
I know what
Mostly,
this is.
I'm tired of people being ugly to each other. I'm tired of all the pain I feel and hear in the world every day.
Is this from a prison film?
Don't know.
I think it's from The Shawshank Redemption.
Okay.
Is that right?
First guess?
That's my first guess.
I'm
I'm going with my second guess then.
Go on then.
The Green Mile.
Correct.
Yes, I knew it was a prison film.
Congratulations.
Both based on stories by Stephen King.
Yes, they were, those 2 guesses.
Okay.
Have you got your quote?
I don't need to search it up.
Oh.
I will go for...
Oh, Mr. I Know quotes.
We're a goddamn movie podcast, Sean. I don't think you've seen this film, but if you don't know what it is... Come on.
Oh, so I'm not going to guess it.
You should know it anyway.
Should I? Okay.
Just when I think I'm out, they pull me back in. Just when I think I'm out, they pull me back in.
I'm going to ask a load of questions.
Oh, God.
It's not a sports film, is it?
No.
Is it a gambling film? Or gangster film, sorry.
It's a gangster film.
Yeah. Just when I think what?
Just when I think I'm out, they pull me back in.
A gangster film. Is it an old gangster film? What
I
year?
wouldn't.
What era?
I wouldn't call it an old film, but I guess
Pre 2000s.
I guess it is an old film.
Is it pre 2000s?
Yeah, it came out in 1990.
1990, and you don't think I've seen it?
No,
God, who's it got in it?
that would be too much.
Was it?
Yeah.
Was it?
I could give you one. I'll give you one then.
Give me
you one name, but I think you'll get
Go
it.
on.
Al Pacino.
Oh, is it Scarface?
No. Guess number one.
I'm not too sure then. I'm not too sure. Is it Casino?
No.
Oh, wait.
Guess number three. The final guess.
Heat.
Good guess, but no.
Yeah, I don't know then.
It
What
is The Godfather
Oh, yeah.
Part 3.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
People are going to have a go at me at this. I've never seen any of The Godfather.
I know that. Isn't that nuts, man?
But
Isn't that absolutely nuts?
To
I mean,
my defense.
why haven't you seen The Godfather?
Yeah,
man?
to my defense, I haven't seen...
Because you wanted to watch it on the channel.
No, I wanted to watch it in the cinema with my dad. But it's never come out.
Oh, it'll be on. It'll be on eventually. Yeah.
So I've wanted to
100%.
do that, but hang on a minute, you haven't seen Goodfellas. You never even saw Saving Private Ryan.
But what do you mean I see Saving Private Ryan?
Yeah, like a couple of years ago in the cinema when it was re-released.
Yeah.
Like 20 years later.
Yeah,
20th anniversary.
but if there's one film that people think of when they think of cinema, it's one of two. It's either Citizen
American
Kane.
Pie.
It's either Citizen Kane or The Godfather. And I know people bash on The Godfather Part 3. It was actually re-released. He cut it back together again and added some stuff or changed it around, and apparently it was better. Yeah. So I'd be interested in seeing that version. But Al Pacino, man. And you mentioned Heat.
I haven't seen that either.
What a great film, man.
Yeah, I need to watch that. I need to watch it. Now I can. I don't have to wait 4 years before we watch it on the channel. Anyway, shall we go into the final segment?
Yeah, the classic. It's returned again for its 5th time. My film is better than your film. And what's the genre today, Sean?
Well, we could do gangster movies after that segment, or we could do thriller.
Let's do gangster movies.
Oh, okay. Let's do it. I have a feeling.
Go on.
I got a feeling.
What's your feeling, Sean?
My feeling is that we're going to choose the same thing.
I don't think we are.
No. Okay. Just before we start, I just want to search something. So I just wanted to have a look at a couple of things.
You haven't seen this.
Okay. Are we ready, Tom?
I am ready, Sean.
I
I've
think the
written
audience is ready.
mine. Are they ready? I think they are.
Ready? 3, 2, 1. The Departed.
I'm going for Heat by Michael Mann.
Okay, I haven't seen
I know
Heat.
you haven't seen it. We watched The Departed on the channel.
We did.
So go and watch our reaction now and then come back to this podcast.
This is probably the first My Film is Better Than Your Film where we've picked very similar films that can actually be compared to one another.
So this is Michael Mann and yours is Martin Scorsese.
Yep.
Scorsese. And Heat is definitely, I can say I love The Departed, but I can definitely say Heat is a better film.
I can say that everyone, including the Academy, thinks The Departed is better than Heat.
I disagree with you, mate. I think people know that Heat is a masterpiece.
I think people know that The Departed won the Best Picture award at the Oscars, Best Writing and Best Director.
Yeah, wasn't it Scorsese's first Best Directed film?
I don't know, probably.
I don't think he'd won an Oscar. I think it was his first Oscar.
Yeah.
But this has not just Al Pacino, but also Robert De Niro as the two masterclass of actors.
You think that's impressive? Yeah, did you forget the people involved in The Departed? Not only was it directed by the world famous director Martin Scorsese, but it has the world famous Leonardo DiCaprio leading. It's got Matt Damon. It's got Jack Nicholson.
Yeah. Their characters, and those actors do not come close to the protagonist-antagonist relationship of Heat when they sit down at that table and talk to each other after they're going against each other for the entire film. Oh my God, the release of tension in that.
I haven't seen The Heat, so I can't attest to that. The Heat, yeah. But the relationship, the trio between Leonardo DiCaprio, Jack Nicholson, and Matt Damon, because obviously Leonardo DiCaprio works for the FBI and he's undercover. Matt Damon works for Jack Nicholson. He's corrupt, but he's undercover in the FBI. So there's rats everywhere, and it's the relationship between Jack Nicholson, Matt Damon, and Leonardo DiCaprio that makes this story so complex, and the characters so complex that it trumps anything. You do
not get more complex characters than the protagonist and antagonist in Heat.
How are they complex?
One of them, Al Pacino, plays a lieutenant, a detective who's hunting down this gang of armed robbers.
Generic.
Okay? No.
Carry on.
Because he's a tormented soul, and his family is disintegrating around him.
Why is he tormented?
His young daughter in it is played by Natalie Portman, about 10 years old.
Why is he? He's
tormented because of the role, because of the job, and the incessant chase that he has to do. He's so devoted to the job, despite putting his family at risk, that he has to do it. He feels the urge, the need. He has to do it.
Do you think there's more urgency there than Leonardo DiCaprio being a rat? Right next to Jack Nicholson, but working for the FBI, and Matt Damon working for Jack Nicholson.
I think there's tension here,
FBI.
but the relentless drive and need that he has to capture Robert De Niro's character, who's called Neil McCauley, who's the criminal, the ringleader of the gang, who's actually out in the front lines shooting and as well, and robbing this bank. He has an equal urge to win this money and to live a free life. And when they come together, it's absolutely explosive. I'm not going to ruin the ending of this film for you because I want you to see it, because it's an amazing film. Yeah. But the ending of the film, it's like a train going to the end, at full speed, and it gets to its destination, and it's class. It's class. The music at the end of the film, guys, you'll know the scene that I'm talking about. But
I do agree that I've heard Heat is a great film, and I do want to watch it.
Michael Mann is a great director, and it's been heavily said on lots of occasions that this film enormously inspired, to the point of some scenes being very similar, The Dark Knight, Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight.
That's
you know, the bank the scenes in the street with the chases, the fighting shootouts and things. Would
you say The Dark Knight is a better film?
The noir. I actually love Heat. I don't know. I think they're on par. I mean, they're different. One's a superhero film.
So there could be a potential that Heat, despite being inspired by Heat, Christopher Nolan did it better.
I actually prefer. I don't think he did. I think the relationships of the characters and the humanity of the characters in it make it a more interesting film. But you've got Val Kilmer in it. You've got John Voight in it. You've got Danny Trejo.
Now I don't know about the ending of Heat. Obviously, it could be very, very good. However, I think you're forgetting what happens in the ending of The Departed. Everyone fucking dies, Tom. Everyone fucking dies. How explosive do you want that to get? How the stakes are so high when you know that anyone could die at any freaking second, and everyone does at every fucking second within the last 20 minutes of the film. So there are probably higher stakes in The Departed, due to the characters' positions, their professions, their relationships.
I've got a bone to pick with The Departed, Sean.
I know you didn't like it when we watched the film. You thought it was annoying that everyone died.
No, I didn't say that. I like the film. I gave it a high rating.
You gave it a high rating, but I know you didn't like it for that reason.
Oh no, I don't. I don't think so. I don't have that much of a problem with it. But you had a comment to me there, where you said, Christopher Nolan has probably made a better film inspired by this, whatever.
Yeah, The
But
Departed is a remake.
So you're saying to me that, are you saying this is Martin Scorsese's best film?
I wouldn't say it's his best film, but it won an Academy Award
Yeah,
for
but
Best Picture.
it's also a rip-off, Sean. It's a remake of a 2002 Hong Kong film called Internal Affairs.
Yeah, it is.
So not very original in that regard, is
But
it?
it is better.
Have you seen the original?
Yeah.
You've seen Internal Affairs?
Yeah, I've seen Internal Affairs. And did Internal Affairs have an Academy Award attached to it?
Yeah, but
Did
you
it have
can't
Best
argue
Director?
with
Did
that.
it have Best Screenplay?
Foreign language films always have always been snubbed for Academy Awards.
True, I guess.
Apart from the foreign language category,
Yeah.
until recently. But why can't
Is
I?
he coming out with a sequel with Adam Driver, by the way?
Oh, there was rumblings about it. So
Yeah.
Michael Mann was considered a really good director, but he actually went to prison for I think it was tax avoidance or something.
Oh, really?
But if I read you some of his films, he came out with that Ferrari recently with Adam Driver. Public Enemies, Miami Vice, Collateral, Ali.
Mm-hmm.
He's done quite a lot of good films. The Last of the Mohicans. He did the original Hannibal film called Manhunter, actually. I did hear rumblings of a Heat 2.
Yeah. I don't know how legitimate those claims were.
They'd obviously have to. You wouldn't be able to have a direct sequel, I don't think. Oh, Michael Mann confirms that Heat 2 as his next and hints at reteaming with Adam Driver.
Is that an Austin Butler as well, potentially?
Yeah, there's rumours. I don't think it's confirmed because it's not
greenlit. That'll be interesting.
Casting rumours for Austin Butler. Yeah, I'd love to see a Heat 2. I rumoured Al Pacino. Yeah, they don't know yet.
Do you think stories like that though? No, I guess they're not diminished by a sequel because you got Godfather 2 that's better.
I think with Heat, because you've got the detective and criminals, there's an easy story to tell.
You got exactly the same with The Departed though, but I would claim it's more complex because of their relationships between the good and the bad. You know, there's a blend there. I
think there's a blend with morality in this as well. There always is in gangster films, and I think we've chosen interesting ones because these are the only gangster films that I can think of. There might be more. You probably tell me, oh yeah, this one, but where you almost have two protagonists and one is the antagonist. If you get what I mean, You don't know who you want to follow more, the criminal or the cop, right?
Right.
And I guess one's in a rival gang, and one's in a gang and one's in the police.
Yeah, but they're also playing
inverted.
For
Yeah. So that's interesting, but instead of just following criminals, so it's cool that we've both picked those there.
Yeah.
But the shootout scene, man. The shootout scene is great. I mean, I know he gets shot in the elevator at the end there, but even that's a bit of a rip-off of The Untouchables, isn't it? Where he gets shot to bits in the elevator.
I wouldn't say that's a rip-off from that, no.
You don't think?
No, not at all.
Because he gets shot in the elevator.
Who?
Remember that guy who works for one of the Untouchables, the nerdy one with the glasses, gets shot when the elevator doors open.
Yeah, but I wouldn't. That's not. The whole context of that is completely different.
Why can't I remember are there many action scenes in The Departed? Like shootouts and stuff?
It doesn't need them, Tom.
I know, I'm just asking. I'm just
compelling and
I'm just asking.
It's the whole politics of it all.
Why don't I remember
movie.
The Departed that well, considering I've seen it more recently than this
I'll
film?
tell you why. Because we watched it on the channel. There you go. And you know exactly what I mean by that. People and we mentioned it in our video on YouTube. We're not doing reaction videos on YouTube anymore because we're not experiencing.
You don't absorb yourself into it. Yeah, I do see that. So but my film's better than your film, mate. My film is better than yours.
Who else is it? It's got Martin Sheen in it, isn't it? Yeah, Martin Sheen's in it, and his death is tragic.
Martin Sheen.
Purely tragic, but also heroic.
There's some tragic heroism in this as well, mate. There's some self-sacrifice in this as well. I won't tell you, but it's there. And Heat is better. And I think actually with time, Heat is the more mature film.
I'm sorry.
Mature film.
What do you mean mature? How can you say The Departed is immature?
I think it's unrealistic. I don't think it's immature. I don't think it's mature. I think it's mature in terms of content, obviously, but I think this is mature in terms of story.
By the way,
like in terms of writing, in terms of acting, in terms of humanity.
I don't think in terms of writing, it didn't win an Academy Award for writing.
But if we went through the Academy Awards every year, I could pick out probably 5 films that year that were better than the one that actually won the Academy Award.
Yeah, maybe, but not this year.
What did The Departed beat again?
Hang on a minute. The Departed was also. I'm pretty sure everyone has a copy of The Departed DVD in their house or has done at one point in their lifetime. Okay, The Departed is so much widely appreciated than Heat, and I wonder why that is.
Okay, I hit Oscar nominations.
2007
Best Film, 2007. Okay. The Departed, Letters from Iwo Jima, that was a Clint Eastwood one, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
The Queen, Babel, haven't seen it, Little Miss Sunshine. Okay, it definitely deserved to win out of those films.
Although Little Miss Sunshine was a brilliant film.
Let me just see if Heat got any Oscars, actually, because I don't know as it did. No, but it got the...
That's all you need to say.
It got the MTV Movie Award for most desirable male for Val Kilmer in 1996.
Yeah, that's how you know you got a great film. MTV Awards.
Yeah, it's great, man. Let us know, guys, what you think. Yeah. I think my film's better than Sean's film.
I think my film's better than Tom's because I haven't seen it. But yeah, comment down below who's do you think is better. Which one would you pick to watch tonight?
Michael Mann's Heat is the most laughable Oscar snub of all time.
And also, let us know what genre you would like us to tackle next in the My Film is Better Than Your Film segment.
So write down your questions if you're watching us on YouTube as well, if you've got any more for the fan mail section.
And if you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget in the description below is our links to our Spotify, Apple Podcasts and Buzzsprout accounts. You can watch, you can click on those and download the audio-only versions of these podcasts early before these podcasts are released onto YouTube.
If you're new to the channel and you've found us through our podcast or through shorts, then drop a sub as well, guys, and join us on the quest to talk about every film ever made.
Yes. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode. Cheers.
Bye-bye.